There we go.
Shit up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real rappers being real with self. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real rappers being real with self. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money, money, money. That's all you got is money.
I know, like Kanye West says, having money is not everything. Not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't want money so much, why you get up and go to work? Yeah, I do think about money. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Cortez.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and I also count it a blessing, guys, to be up each and every morning to come before you with the strategies and the things that I have learned over the years in business as a wealth building strategist, as a marketer. Whatever I know, if you think it can help you, today is the day to get your questions asked so I can figure out, present to you the information that you want to know first and foremost. But as always, we'll do a recap of this week's shows. And then it's all about you guys, question and answer. So let's get right into it, guys. Just in case you stumbled on the show on accident, before I do that, do me a huge favor. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and that way you not only get notifications when I go live every morning and when I push the shows out the night before, so you have a heads up of what those topics are, but you will also get notifications when I put up other videos, because I'm always adding content to my YouTube channel. So subscribe to the channel, grab the link to this show, and post it in your favorite social media site, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever. Let's get other people involved in these conversations because I'm trying to raise the collective financial IQ of our entire community. And do the same thing for me on Facebook, guys. If you're checking us out on Facebook, share the stream. Let's get the information out to the people that need it the most. And if you know people who might personally like what we do here each and every morning, just invite them personally to come check out the show. And maybe they would like to make us part of their morning routine, just like you guys have. And then also, don't forget, if I ever get to going on a rant and it's making sense to you guys, I'm hitting on some points that you guys love, then give me the hearts and the thumbs up, because the more you do that, the more popular the show becomes, and the more Facebook will put it out in front of more and more people. That's just the way it goes, man. That's the reason that fight videos and all the ratchetness is flooding your timelines, is because when that stuff comes across, people are really engaging and responding to it. So we want to start engaging and responding to the positive stuff so that it gets the same amount of attention and gets pushed out in front of the same amount of people as all of the ratchetness does. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, just in case you stumbled on the show on accident, I always like to let you know who the show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only, man. If you're the type of person that's sitting back waiting on a handout, this show ain't for you. This show is for those who want to get up, get out, and get something this morning. This show is for those who are trying to build a family empire this morning. This show is for those who understand the importance of the word sacrifice and are willing to give up some comforts so that they can put a better foundation in place for the next generation. This show is for you, man. If you are the type of person that says, you know what, I want to make sure my great-great-grandchildren are proud to bear my name. I want to make my name synonymous with wealth, prosperity, happiness. When you think about Trump, you think about Gates, you think about Buffett, you think about Winfrey, you think about these people, their names are synonymous with wealth, success, power, fame. There's nothing wrong with wanting that stuff, guys. The only problem is the motive behind you wanting that stuff. And I believe that good people can have power, fame, wealth, prosperity, and do good things with it. So if that's you, man, this show is for you. If you're the type of person that got the desire to build wealth, you've got the discipline to build wealth, but maybe you need a game plan, a coach, a mentor, or maybe you need a community of people around you that's going to help encourage you, lift you up, motivate you. This is your show, man, because that's what we bring each and every morning. Now, on the other hand, who is this show not for? This show is not for those people who are sitting back waiting on Donald Trump to fix the economy instead of focusing on their economy. This ain't your show, man. If you're the type of person that waits on a handout instead of getting up going to get yours, this show ain't for you. I'm gonna tell you the type of people who listen to this show. See, some people sit back and pray that God gives them what they need. Sometimes these people sit back and pray and ask God to lighten the load. Well, the people that watch this show, the people this show is for, they don't pray to ask God to lighten the load. They pray to ask God to strengthen them so they can bear the load. They don't pray to ask God to and make the road easier. They pray to ask God to give them the endurance to withstand. Right? So if that's not you, this show is not for you, man. If you don't like the way that I talk about money all the cotton picking time because you think money is evil, capitalism is a dirty word, hey, this show ain't for you. You might not want to listen, because the people who will listen and watch this show will attract money, prosperity, peace, everything that comes with success. They're attracting it in their lives. And if you think there's something wrong with money, your subconscious mind will never allow you to attract something to you that you think there's something wrong with. If you think money is evil, why would your brain allow you to attract something that's evil to you? So you got to fix that relationship with money if you ever want to be able to bring an abundance into your life. So let's be clear, though. I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I have a problem with you having a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. If you are comfortable, complacent, content with where you are, good for you. I'm not. I'm going after greater and greater and greater and greater things. So why does that bother you, right? Why does that bother you that I want to be wealthy, right? So if that's you, then this show ain't for you. But like I tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, I want you to take a screenshot because you're looking at one right now. Look me dead in my eyes. You're looking at a future billionaire right now. Right? So you can cheer for me, you can cheer against me, makes me know never mind, right? But you might want to get in the game with me, because there's not a single billionaire on this planet who's ever gotten to that place without helping others along the way. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys. Today's show is brought to you by the Cash Flow Manager. Guys, if you are already in business and you don't have a good record keeping apparatus, then I want you to check out the Cash Flow Manager. It's the tool that I use to track all my business expenses, to track all my business reporting. Really cool. Transfers from my computer to my phone and back. So at the end of the year, when I'm ready to do my taxes, all I have to do is print out a spreadsheet. It's already categorized with all of my expenses, my deductions, my income. Everything is already there. Makes my tax preparer's job really, really easy. The other thing that it offers is it offers the ability to create wealth building game plans. So if you have a desire to have a certain amount of money coming in when you retire each and every month, then you put that into this system, and it will map out a game plan, tell you exactly how to get rid of your debts, tell you exactly what you need to be investing in, at what rate of return you need to be looking for, tells you if you're in business, what kind of business income you need to be trying to acquire and put aside so that you can hit your future goals. Super, super cool little tool, man. $11 a month. Can't beat it. So if you're interested in that, just shoot me an inbox and I will give you the link to the Cash Flow Manager tool, and you can check that out. Today, it's all about you guys, man. Free Game Friday, live Q&A. If you got a question, what I want you to do is give me the name of your business so we can give you a business shout out, and go ahead and ask your question. And then I will go ahead and get the question repeated to the audience, and then I'll do my best to give you a sound answer. If I know, if I don't know, chances are I at least know where you can go to seek out the answer, some people that you can Google follow, some blogs you can go check out to find answers more specifically. But I know a little bit about a lot of different things. So shoot me your question and let's see. But before we get into the Q's and A's, let's go over the recap of what we had, starting with yesterday's show. And then we go all the way back to Monday. Yesterday, we talked about SMART goals. How are you guys setting SMART goals? We're coming down to the end of the year, and some of you guys are going to set, make claims of your New Year's resolution, but a resolution and a SMART goal couldn't be further apart than East is from West, man. You get, I mean, a resolution is cool. That's fun to do it with your family, with your friends and all that stuff, man, to resolve to do something better and be something greater to aspire. But a SMART goal, man, is where it's at. And the SMART goal simply means it's an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. Key being time-based, guys. If you don't have a time on your goal, then they're just wishes and dreams. If you do not have a time on your goal, they're just wishes and dreams, because the time is what makes it all come together, right? The time is what makes the goal all come together. It takes your goal and puts it into the planning phase, because when you have a certain date, now you work backwards from that date and you can get down to moment activities that will cause you to hit your goal. So you got to have SMART goals in place. So if you do have a resolution, okay, that's the resolution. Now build SMART goals to acquire or to achieve that resolution. Put a time on the SMART goals, work backwards from that time to put a daily action plan together that's going to have you hit that goal. On Wednesday, we had a killer show. If you guys missed Wednesday's show, especially if you are in business, needing business credit, if you are looking to learn more about real estate, I had my man Juan Pablo on, and he is a super cool guy, full-time real estate investor, business credit expert, freedom lifestyle advocate, right? Check that show out on Wednesday. You can go to Financial Health Mentor on YouTube to see the archives of all the shows. All 86 episodes or so is what we're on now. So you can go check that out there. And definitely let me know your thoughts. Leave me a comment on the YouTube channel if you got questions, if you need some follow-up, because Juan has agreed that we could definitely do a show like that again. But he dropped some powerful jewels, man. I often talk about creativity on this show and not being afraid to use your creativity. When he moved to New York, chasing a government job, he roomed with a friend of a friend, and he moved up there on Saturday. The following Wednesday, that person put him out and said, "Man, you got to go. The person whose room you're in, they're coming back." So what was his name? His name is Juan Pablo, Juanpablo. It was Wednesday's show, this past Wednesday. You can even go on my timeline and go back a couple of days and look at a couple of streams. But on Wednesday, if you on YouTube, if you go back, it's sometimes easier to find on YouTube. But on the following Wednesday, he got put out, so he had to find a house. But what he didn't realize, and see, here's what perspective is all about, guys. I talk about a stumbling block and a stepping stone being the same thing. The only difference is your perspective. How do you see it? Do you see it as an obstacle that's going to keep you from your goals, or do you see it as a challenge that's going to make you stronger and help you achieve your goals faster? He could have whined and cried about being put out. Optimistic guy like myself said, you know what, I'm just going to find a place. And the place that he found was a room with a elderly lady. He didn't even have the money because he hadn't started his job yet. He didn't even have the money. He just said, hey, here's my acceptance letter, my offer letter for my job. It shows you that I'll be making X amount of dollars per year, so I can pay you. I just haven't started yet, right? So the lady let him move in. And basically, she was running a rooming house, but she was using a unique strategy to make income for herself. She was renting her room out to international students, right? So she was renting him a room for $800 a month, $850 a month, and she was renting other rooms out to others for $850 a month. And he picked up on that immediately and said, wow. So that's what the market bears, $850 per room, these international students. So he started helping her with the international students. He started helping take care of her. She was an elderly lady. So lo and behold, he ultimately ended up getting the blessing of being able to stay there for free because of what he was doing. He took the initiative to start helping her, start staying there for free. And then as he stayed there for free, they would walk around the city and he started noticing all of these for rent signs. Found a place that was renting an entire 3-bedroom basement apartment for $850, for $800. Now he's paying $850 for a room, and this place is renting the whole thing for $850. Got in that thing and did the same thing the woman that he was with does. She took her on as a mentor, and here's what she did for him. She didn't say, no, I'm not going to give you my contacts to these agencies so you can start being my competition. She said, Juan, that's a great business venture for you. You definitely should. Let me hook you up with the 3 agencies that I'm using to connect with so you can get some of these international students and you can start doing what I'm doing. And he's blessing her every day to this day because of the blessing that she poured upon him, because she could have been a jerk, a snob, and said, nah, you moving out, you move out. But he moved out, fixed up the 3-bedroom apartment. He slept in the living room, rented each one of those bedrooms out for $700 per room. Creativity, guys. And some of the things that he said sometimes ownership is better than control. He didn't own that space, but he controlled it, and he controlled it well enough to get a $2,100 paycheck out of it that paid for his you're only one connection away from your next level. All the time. But sometimes we don't want to make those connections. So that started him on his journey in the real estate game, right? Because from there, he was able to make that little bit of money, and then he started getting other rental units, and now he's like 60, 70 something units in. And then again, he said a lot of them he don't own, but he controls. That means he gets the capital from controlling and maintaining and working them, but he don't necessarily own them. He said he keeps his ownership in a lot of these properties to less than 20%. So I thought that was powerful because J. Paul Getty said sometimes it's better. He would rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of his own effort. So say Juan had 50 of these apartments where he only owned 20%. A person who owned the other 80%, they're going to do all the work because they get the lion's share of the profit. But he doesn't have to be as involved because he only owns a small percentage. So he can take that small percentage of ownership, multiply that small percentage of ownership by 50. Now he's got a little percent of a lot, but that equals a lot. So that was a killer show, guys. You got to go back and check that out. And unfortunately, my connection died right there at the end before he gave his parting thoughts. But still great content for you guys. And I'm going to be bringing some pieces and clips out to continue to share with you guys over the next couple weeks. Tuesday, we talked about the 3 ways to acquire wealth. And they're really no secret or anything. But when it comes to acquiring wealth, there's 4. You can buy wealth, you can build wealth, you can steal wealth, or you can inherit wealth. You can buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it. So we talked about most people being working class people. What are the things that you should focus on to acquire wealth? We talked about for yourself personally, you should focus on building wealth. Bob Johnson, the original founder of BET, took $15,000, bought his cable network through a special licensing program that the government has to help minorities, Black people, and other minorities get into media. Took $15,000 and bought the station that he needed for BET, and turned that $15,000 to $1 billion+ in less than 30 years. Now, I want y'all to understand the significance of building wealth versus buying wealth. He took $15,000 and turned it into $1 billion+ in less than 30 years. Now, take that same $15,000 and try to buy your wealth. So what I mean by buying wealth, that simply means you're investing in assets, paper assets, precious metals, whatever. Had he taken that same $15,000 and spent the entire $15,000 on gold, for instance, would he have gotten an increase on that $15,000? Yes, he would have been buying wealth. At the time he bought BET, gold was a few $100s an ounce, right? So he'd have got a significant amount of ounces of gold. Now gold is trading at over $2,000 an ounce. So he would have made a significant amount of money on that investment. Nowhere close to $1 billion though. Nowhere close. If he'd have taken that same $15,000 and bought some stocks, bought some bonds, some mutual funds, and some companies, even hot companies, right? 30 years ago, $15,000 and Nike would have got you $1 million maybe today, right? That's far from $1 billion. So what I'm saying is understand that you have the ability to build wealth if you add a little elbow grease with your initial investment. You can build wealth sometimes a lot faster than you can buy wealth. And then when you build wealth, you're putting yourself in position to pass down wealth to the next generation so that they can have an inheritance. Sometimes, guys, we literally, I know people like this, man, are so bitter that their parents didn't have a whole lot of money, that they treat their money the same way, and they have no regard about leaving anything to their children. Hell, my parents didn't leave me nothing. I had to start from scratch, so they got to start from scratch. It's gonna make them tough. It's gonna make them strong. It's a bunch of baloney, man. Learn how to sacrifice. At some point, somebody's got to sacrifice if we as a community of people will ever get our ish together. Somebody has got to make some tough sacrifices, man. And it don't take all of us. Give me 3, 4, 5% of the people in this country that want to see Black people win and put us in a room together and let us pool our resources. And I bet you we can turn this thing around on a dime. Don't take everybody, right? Sometimes when everybody is involved, you have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. You need Indians and chiefs, right? So we talked about positioning yourself to leave an inheritance for your children. And as you're building, well, as you're building your wealth through your business, then you can always take that wealth and diversify it. So I'm big on true diversification, right? I'm not big on a diversification that you would learn about when you're talking about when you go sit down and talk to a financial planner or advisor, right? The diversity that they talk about, because they sell paper assets, they tell you to invest all of your paper assets with us, and then we're gonna, all your money with us and paper assets, then we're gonna diversify them. That's not true diversification. You put all of your money in the stock market, and the stock market crashes. I don't care what you got your money invested in, it's still in the market. The whole market crashes like in 2008, you're gonna lose money, right? So what is true diversification? True diversification is when you have your money invested in different asset classes, right? So their definition of diversification is you give me $100,000 of your money, then I'm going to diversify it in the stock market and have some of it go towards bonds, some of it go towards stock, some of it go towards tech companies, some of it go towards blue chip, some of it go towards retail, some of it goes towards real estate, mortgage-backed securities, that sort of stuff. All of it is still in, they say don't put your money in one basket. All of it is still in the same basket. It's still in the stock market. Right? So funny, but because we have a limited financial IQ, when they talk to us about that, we believe wholeheartedly that, yes, I'm diversified. No, you're not, because all of your money is still in one basket. So true diversification says, I've got $100,000. I got 20,000 of it in the paper market, in paper assets. I got another 20,000 in precious metals, gold, platinum, silver, things of that nature. I might be investing in some diamond mines and some platinum, some gold mines and steel and copper and all that kind of stuff. Then I've got another 40,000 in real estate. I got a couple 10, 12 unit apartment complexes that I was able to get when I used that 40,000. And then I might have another 20,000 that I'm using in a traditional business where I'm building a traditional business. Now I'm diversified across asset classes. So if the stock market goes down, my 20,000 might shrink to 5. Now here's what's cool. Don't miss this, because I'm not saying that the stock market is bad. My 20,000 might go down to 5, But if it stays there over the next 15, 20 years, it might climb back up to 35. So yes, I lost 15 initially, but the market always rebounds. So I might get my return on my investment. It's just going to take time. But guess what? When the market crashed, the real estate market boomed. So now I was able to double the rents on all of my units. So that 40,000 became worth 80,000 to me. One crash, one exploded, right? When the market crashed, usually precious metals go through the roof. So now I'm diversified against asset classes, guys. That's how you want to leverage your money. So we talked about that. And then on Monday, we talked about assets versus liabilities. A lot of people are spending a lot of money on liabilities that they believe are assets. A lot of people are parking a lot of money in savings accounts, CDs, money market accounts, because they think those things are assets when they're actually liabilities. What is a liability? A liability is something that's going to take money from your pocket or depreciate in value. An asset is something that's going to put money in your pocket and or appreciate in value. When you take your money and you put it in a savings account and you're earning less than 2% rate of return in that savings account, that's not an asset. You're losing money, because historically, the rate of inflation has always been 2.2% or higher for the last 100 years. So if you're not doing that, then you're losing money, right? Sometimes you buy a CD. A CD, you might buy a CD for 24 months, right? And you say, wow, I'm getting 3.5% rate of return on this money. But guess what? If in those 24 months, the rate of inflation is at 5%, you don't have an asset, my friend. You have a liability, because that thing is losing money because of the pace of inflation. So you have to understand these things. And this is why we do shows like this each and every morning, so I can help you understand. And I don't profess to be a know-it-all. I do sit under the teaching of some guys who know an awful lot, man, when it comes to how the money game is played here in America. So I try to bring what they teach me to you guys, so it will at least get you asking the right questions, right? That makes me think about iRobot, man. I love those kinds of movies. But when Will Smith was trying to solve the mystery, and he had the little digital device he would throw out, and then it would pop up a hologram of the professor or you know, the guy who was behind it, and he could only ask certain questions. And the device, the hologram would always say, I'm sorry, my responses are limited. You have to ask the right question. So I try to touch on a little bit of everything to get your minds thinking, so that you can start asking different questions. It's the questions that you ask that will lead you to the right answers, right? So that's what, so that was the recap of all 4 shows this week. I don't see any questions, guys. What are we waiting on to get into the question? I joined TD Ameritrade 3 months ago. I'm learning. And that's where it begins, Terrell. That's where it begins. That's where it begins, man. Get your feet wet somewhere. You know, it's you know, and in our country, we have 3 educations that you need. 3 educations that you need. You need vocational education. Whatever your job is, whatever your passions are, and you want to do that as a job, as a way to make money, you need training in that vocation, right? We have scholastic education. That is, you got to know how to read. You got to know how to do basic math. You got to know how to reason. You got to know how to do some critical thinking. That is your scholastic education. But the financial education, you're left to acquire on your own. Your financial education, you're left to acquire on your own. Probably the most important of the 3 educations, right? You can read on a 5th grade level. You can do basic math. I'm not talking about calculus and advanced algebra and all of that stuff, right? You can reason fairly well. You can have critical thinking skills. That's the basics of a scholastic IQ. they could literally stop that education in about the 5th or 6th grade and start with financial education, and everybody will be all right, man. But what do? They repeat the same old stuff. And tell me this, outside of being in a social setting and being able to recite or being able to speak with intelligence about the history of this country, why is it so important that we continue to learn and go over the colonies and colonialism and all of that stuff? How does that help me today? Right? But these are the things that they're putting in your kids because they're trying to build patriotism into the children. And as a patriot of this country, you work for other people and you get capitalized on. So all of that is indoctrination to put you in a particular box so that you benefit the greater society. If they taught financial education from 5th grade on up, then you would no longer be capitalized on. Then the country would go back to 95% of the people owning their own businesses and 5% of the people working. And when you had that kind of country, you had a government that was extremely small because business owners don't play that. Right? But they flipped it to where 95% of the country works for someone else. 5% of the country are the business owners. That 5% of the country owns and controls 95% of the wealth of this country. And they found that system works a lot better. So they're keeping it that way. Right? So we got a question from Miguel. What's your business, Miguel? What are the important elements when developing systems for a business? All right, so the important elements are for developing systems for a business. I would say you have to know your numbers. Juan Pablo talked about this a lot. Knowing the margin on what it is that you offer is extremely important, because when you know the margin, so for instance, I know that the people who sign up for my financial success membership, I know they are worth about $500. They're worth about $500 LTV. So what LTV means, the lifetime value of the customer. So Brellas and Bikes down in New Orleans, he asked a question: what are some of the important elements when developing systems for business? So if you want, if you're in the New Orleans area and you like to do night bike rides, like to do bike tours and things of that nature, Brellas and Bikes, if you want to reach out to my man Miguel, because that's what they do. So knowing your margin, I would say is key. I know my lifetime value of my customer is about $500. Why is that important to know? Because when you know the lifetime value of a customer, then you know how much money you can actually spend on the front end to acquire a customer. That's where your branding and your marketing comes in. If you know the lifetime value of your customer, you know how much money you can spend to acquire a customer. So I would start there, understanding margin, know the lifetime value. So now I know what it will take for me to acquire a customer. So for me, my system is all about three things, Miguel. Traffic. I have to understand my system has to be good at attracting a lot of traffic, because even when you're doing your Brellas and Bikes, you're not renting any bikes if you don't have a lot of traffic. So you got to understand how and where to gain traffic, how to convert those traffic into leads, right? How to sort out, so out of all of that traffic, how to sort out the ones who are really, really active, the ones who are really, really likely to take a bike tour, the ones who are really, really likely to rent a bike or an umbrella from you, right? So you sort them into leads, and then how to convert those leads into sales. And then you need to understand fully what it costs you to do that, right? And the cost what it costs you to do that is determined on the lifetime value of your customer. So for instance, Miguel, if you if all of your customers are only one-time customers and they rent a bike from you one time, and your profit margin on that bike is 12 bucks on the rental. It's 12 bucks on the rental. So that means you cannot afford to spend $13 to acquire that customer. Because if you spend $13 to acquire that customer, then you're losing money because the lifetime value of that customer is only $12. So you want to keep your, you want to know those numbers extremely well. See, it all comes down to branding and marketing. You got to be able to know what your numbers are so you can know what to spend on branding and marketing, where to spend your money to acquire your traffic, to convert your traffic into leads, to convert your leads into sales. That's one system that you need to have down pat. You just got to know that. And I'm constantly working on that system for myself. How do I get the traffic that I need? How do I convert that traffic into leads? And then how do I convert those leads into sales? Right. So that's one of the systems. Also, your system of how do you make your product accessible? Right. How do you facilitate the exchange of your bike rentals to the customers for the money? Is that system very smooth? Is it very convenient for the customer, or do they have to fight traffic to get to you to get a bike rental? Do they have to fight the weather? Is that a convenient thing for them to do? And can you deliver that convenience without a whole lot of financial input from the business, right? So that's another system. The ease of access for your business or your opportunity is extremely, extremely, extremely important to develop a system around that. So if you want, that's why I like online, because I can go online and although I will probably leave out people ages 50 to 65, 70 years old because they're not as computer savvy. But guess what? That's not my target demographic anyway. So you have to understand ease of access to what it is that you offer. You know, they talk about business being about location, 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 right? So what is your location, or how can you conveniently deliver or make it easy for people to access your products and your services? So that's, you want to have a system around that, because I know you were talking about franchising before. So and then you have to say, okay, can this work in other parts of the city, other parts of the state, other parts of the country? So it's all about analytics for you early on as you're developing your system. But the number one system I would be looking to develop is, how are you consistently getting the traffic you need to pull out a smaller number of leads, to pull out even a smaller number of sales? And can you make that happen predictably? Right? Can you predictably, so I know if I talk to 10 people about my financial success membership, 4 people will take a serious interest, 1 person will sign up with me. Right? So 1 person will try. So that's a 10-4-1 system that I have. So every time that I want to scale my business up, I need more money, then I just literally go talk to more people. So you need to know, out of whatever you're doing to market, how much of that marketing is leading to the traffic? How much of that traffic is leading to the leads? How many of those leads are converting to sales? Because then now you have something that's predictable and you have an ability to scale up. Now all you have to do is say, okay, if I just do 10 times that, I get 10 times the traffic, 10 times the leads, 10 times the customers. But again, your lifetime value of your customer is important, so you know what you're spending on acquiring that traffic. So that makes sense. So those are a couple of things. We can do some deeper stuff offline, man. I would need to know a little bit more about your business model and how that works to be more specific. But traffic, leads, and conversions is important for you to understand in any business. But also, I would say ease of access, especially for your type of business. Are you getting enough traffic, or are you making it easy enough for people to access those bikes at the time that they are most likely to want to ride a bike, and at a time where they're most likely to have the money to pay for a rental? Wizzy Duru, how can I get the link for monitoring a small business trial link you talked about in your one of your videos. I put that link in your response to the YouTube video. You asked that question on the YouTube video, so I did put the link there. So if you go back on YouTube, you'll see the link in my response there. How can I get the link for running my small business? So yeah, I think that's the same question. So I did put the link there. I will put the link here as well. So I always respond to all of the questions from these sessions. So I will also put the link in here for you to check out that cash flow manager software app. It will definitely be a help. And you can try it out for 7 days, no cost. And then if you like it after the 7 days, it'll charge you either $10.95 if you want just the cash flow manager. If you want the deluxe with the strategist that will help you build your wealth building game plan, then I think that's $19.95. But you can choose which way you want to go after you deal with that trial. Come on, people, what are your questions? Do you have what is your business, Wizzy? I always want to give you a business shout out. So if you guys got questions, give me the name of your business, short description, and then ask your question so I can give you a business shout out. I don't have a huge following, but these live streams will get viewed some 300 or 400 times. So I always want to try to give you a business shout out if you're engaging, man. I have no problem with promoting your business because I'm here to help everybody win. A lot of times we think that if I help you win, then that's going to take away from me. Let me tell you something somebody told me a long time. If I take the light from my candle and I go light somebody else's candle, that will never take away from my fire. I can take the light from my candle and go light 1,000,000 candles and still be lit myself. So I don't think minimalistically. I don't think small. I don't think and scarcity. That scarcity is man-made, man. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as scarcity. Look at this planet that we're on, man. Look at this planet that we're on, and tell me where you see things scarce at. What's scarce? What's in limited quantity? There's an abundance of everything on this planet. Trendy Sports deal on suits, blazers, velvet, and sneakers. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice, Wizzy. Drop your link in here too, man. I can hang a suit, bro, or sis. I don't know. I can't tell if you're a man or a woman, but I can hang a suit. So drop a link, man. Let me check you out, man. But I'm a little bit more conservative in my suits, man. I know sometimes we like suits with these loud colors, man, and these long coats. And nah, man, you just give me something nice and conservative, man. Gray, blue, or brown, man. Gray, blue, or brown. All right. More business. But yeah, drop a link. That's definitely cool, man. I would appreciate it. He said, I'm a man. Okay, Wizzy, so brother's a man. He says, so he deals in suits, blazers, velvet, and sneakers, brand name clothing. So if you guys want to support my man Wizzy, definitely do so. I'm definitely going to support. Funny thing about me, Wizzy, I'm 6 feet tall. And for me, that's not quite big and tall, but it's bigger than the average large at the store. So I'm in between big and tall and regular size guys. so I have difficult times, trying to find the right fit everywhere. But the last time I walked into a suit store, man, I walked into a perfect fit right off the rack, man. It was funny. You don't rarely do that. Didn't need not for the jacket. The pants, of course, need a tailor, but the jacket was perfect fit. I mean, bam, it just cool. So definitely questions, guys. Today's show is all about you guys. Give me the name of your business and ask your question. Because if you haven't figured out by now, I can ramble and I can talk about almost anything. But I want to talk about what you want me to talk about on Fridays, not what I want to talk about. I do that Monday through Thursday. So on Fridays, I want to talk about what you want me to talk about. Any other questions? Any other questions? Nope. No questions? Come on, guys. And I hate they don't have the chat right on YouTube, because I know your YouTube is good. Can we discuss what is the importance of business credit for a new business? Yes, again, this is Brothers and Bikes. Miguel asks, can we discuss what is the importance of business credit for a new business? Business credit is extremely important because it gives you access to capital that allows you to scale your business. It gives you access to capital that allows you to scale your business. So for instance, if you know the lifetime value of your customer, you know what that threshold is. So for me, the lifetime value of my customer is $500 over the lifetime that they hang out with me in their membership. So for me, I can spend up to $400 to acquire a customer because they're going to stick around long enough for me to still make a $100 profit. Do I want to spend a $400 to get a customer? No, not when I can get a customer for 50 cents. Not when I can get a customer for $10, $30, $40, right? But knowing that, and then when it comes a time where I say, you know what, I have my human resources in order. I have the people that I need to scale my business, right? I have the equipment that I need. So now I have the bikes that I need to scale my business. But maybe it's time for me to scale up the traffic so that I can support that. So access to business capital is important because when you get to that place in business, you want to be able to scale up at the right time. And sometimes we have the perfect opportunity to scale. Like for instance, when you come into your spring, summer season, I'm sure you want to be in position to scale, right? But sometimes we lack the capital, so we miss an opportunity to scale and grow our business, grow our customer base. So business credit allows you to do that. Now, here's the thing. If you go and check out the show with Juan Pablo on Wednesday, he teaches that there's two ways that you can acquire business credit. There's a long way and there's a short way. The long way is to go ahead and get your business incorporated. Go ahead and start getting all of the compliance measures met. There's about 21 or 22 of them, he says, that you have to meet. You have to have an 800 number. You have to have a fax number. All of these things that require that you need to have, you know, to start acquiring business credit. Then you have to get a few small lines of credit, some departments, some store credit, some business store credit, Office Max, Office Depot, Lowe's, places like that, Granger. You can get a few lines of credit and you start building over time, and it'll take you about a year or two to get an 80 credit score, a business credit score, and that's equivalent to about a 700 personal credit score. But it takes you time, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should be doing that anyway. But he said the fastest way to acquire business capital is through a personal guarantee. What does that mean? That means if you have a credit score of 720 or higher personally, then you can use that 720 score personally to guarantee or to back up. It's almost like co-signing for your business credit. And then that will give you access to capital a lot faster, a lot faster. And, you know, he showed a stack of about 23 credit cards that he calls his money team. That's his money team. Those are his silent partners, he says. And all of them have over $20,000 limits on them. So imagine that, $20,000 times 20, right? $400,000 in capital when he's ready to scale his business, when he needs to drop down some money to do a deal to tie up a property so he can flip it, so he can wholesale it or whatever. So if you don't have a 720 credit score or higher, you should be aspiring to that in your personal life, because you can then leverage that in your business life, right? And then you can get access to capital that way. Here's the thing though. Your business credit will not report on your personal credit report unless you default. As long as you're paying it on time, the minimum payments, it does not report on your personal credit unless you default, right? But it's a cool way to build business credit while you're getting your compliance issues squared away so that you can start developing corporate credit as well. Cool, 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 cool. What's the best way to set an attractable price for your customers but not hurt yourself, especially when you're trying to stay near or under the market, but you know the value of your work? So, Corbett, I would say for the most part, the market is going to dictate what your price is. The market is going to dictate what your price is, right? So do a little bit of market research on companies that do something similar and do the things that you do. Now, here's the difference. Here's where branding comes in at, right? So the market is going to dictate a baseline of what your products and services are worth. But here's where your brand comes in. What's the difference between a large cup of coffee at Quick Trip gas station versus a large cup of coffee at Starbucks? The only thing different is the brand. So when you're talking about pricing, you can set your price for anything as long as you're going to create the added value. So for instance, if Schultz or whatever the guy named who owns Starbucks would have told me that he's going to charge damn near $10 for a cup of coffee, I said, fool, you crazy. Who's going to pay $10 for a cup of coffee? But then if he'd have told me I'm going to charge $10 for a cup of coffee, but I'm going to give it all of these fancy names, I'm going to create an ambiance around my store, I'm going to create I have the extra bells and whistles on my coffee, the foams and the cute designs and all of that stuff. And I'm going to create this prestige around my brand that makes people feel good about themselves when they drink my coffee. I'm going to create this mystique around my brand that's going to make people feel they deserve my coffee. And because it makes them feel so good, they're not going to have a problem giving me $10 for a large cup of coffee. Right? So he took a basic product and the market says that a cup of coffee costs you $2, man, wherever you go. And he said, okay, how do I add value to make my cup of coffee worth $2? So I would say the best way to set a price is look at what the market demands and what the market says your products are worth, and then ask yourself, how can I add an exorbitant amount of value without it costing me a whole lot, right? See, when Starbucks puts that whipped cream on your coffee, right? That whipped cream to you is a nice touch that you will pay an extra $1 for. But that whipped cream to them is costing them like a nickel. So the value that they're adding appears grander than what it's costing them to add that value. So baseline cost for what the market says that your stuff is worth, and then how can you add value onto that where it doesn't cost you anything, right? Where it doesn't cost you anything, and that's how you set the price. So I'm always constantly building my brand and offering things on top of what I do. So for instance, my financial success membership, there's a lot of people that offer this membership, but there's not a lot of people that offer expert branding and marketing coaching that goes along with it. There's not a lot of people that offer the support because I'm retired from my job. So I offer full-time support. You can call me anytime. Throughout the day, we can have meetings and things of that nature where a lot of people aren't accessible because they're doing it on the side. So I can add value to what I'm doing based on a lot of different things. A lot of people who offer this membership are scared to get in front of a camera. I do videos for my team all the time that they can leverage. They can plug somebody into my live streams a day. And most of my team refers people to my membership because they refer them to my show. They say, hey, here's my mentor. Check out his daily morning show. They check out the morning show and say, oh, you connected with this guy. This guy is on point with building wealth and he's part of your team. Yeah. Okay, and then they sign up with that person. So I'm always constantly adding value to what I do. So think about the value that you can add that won't cost you a whole lot for adding that value. And then brand the heck out of the value that you bring and how you separate yourself from everybody else. And that's how people know that Starbucks coffee is a lot different than everybody else's. Instagram Wizzy Duru, check me out. Cool, cool. Okay, I'm really not sure where to start because I feel like there are so many things I want to do, but I'm not actively pursuing right now. Like I'm trying to get money up for real estate investing and let me see more. Real estate investing and learning and coaching. So I didn't have a lot of questions as far as what to do because I've been on YouTube listening to wholesaling and things like that. But maybe you could show us how to do the Facebook as the analytics, how to promote that would be my question. How do you get followers? How do you get more people to follow your business and marketing and things of that nature? Okay, so Jennifer, you're on the team, so make sure, remind me to put you in the Beast Mode branding and marketing group. I have about 20 videos in there right now that gives you a lot of these tips, but I would say, and this is because this is what worked for me. People like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. People also like to do business with people they look at as authority. The fastest way to get people to know, like, and trust you and build your authority in a particular space is through video. The fastest way to get people to know, like, and trust you and build your authority in the space is video, right? So the reason you guys trust me as it relates to wealth building strategies, business building tips and strategies is because you see me on video. I communicate what I know well, and you say, you know what, I can tell he knows a little bit about what he's talking about. I can tell he's got experience. So you know, you like, and you trust me based on the videos, and then you see that other people follow the videos as well. So now that's giving me a little bit of an authority. So now you say, okay, he's got authority. I know, like, and trust him. So I'm willing to do business with him. I'm willing to listen to his show, take his advice, and put it into practice. So I would say pick one thing that you're going to focus your efforts on. Then pick one medium that you're going to use to, or one platform that you're going to use to get your message out about your brand. And then pick one vehicle for doing that, meaning, are you going to do be a blog? Are you going to do videos? Are you going to do direct mail? How are you going to get your customers? So if you're going to use Facebook as your medium, I've got training on Facebook marketing in the Beast Mode branding and marketing group. If you're going to do video, I also got video marketing training in there. And then if we just need to do a one-on-one consultation, give me a call, 314-874-6887, and I can help you flesh out. See, I would say you will probably be better or easier for you to start with the thing that you know the most about, because you can build your authority about that thing faster. If you're just learning real estate, then it's going to be hard for you to establish authority as a real estate investor because you're new to it. You're learning it yourself. But if you have some other interests that you're already proficient in, then you can build an authority in that first, build up a following, build up an audience, and then over time start building up your real estate knowledge. And then all you have to do is wash, rinse, and repeat. Whatever you did to build your brand here, then you can build a separate brand here in the real estate market. And then you can do that 3 or 4 times over. I have 5 different businesses that I'm branding at the same time, using the same strategies across all 5 different businesses. I'm just talking to different audiences. So the video that I have on Facebook on analytics and how to brand and how to buy Facebook ads and stuff, that's also in the Beast Mode branding and marketing group. Okay, and I see you sent me a private message, so we'll talk. We'll talk. Shirt that he is wearing is available via PayPal. Darnell Weathersby at yahoo.com. $30 shipping included. Yes, the cycle ends with me, man. When I saw that shirt, I said that spoke to me. I said, dude, I'm going to get that shirt because that's what I'm about. I'm about ending the cycle of poverty in my family. Point blank, period. It ends with me. That means if I have to sacrifice my every waking moment to make sure that I have an inheritance to leave to my children's children, that's what I'm going to do, man. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Blessed to Balls Skills Development Academy. Blessed to Balls D.com. Mental and skill development for athletes, as well as a consultation for parents. Understanding life through the game of basketball. Use the game. Don't let it use you. That is awesome, Carvel. So we can definitely talk because I do something similar. When it comes to to things that you're passionate about, there's no shortage of ways to make money. There is no shortage of ways to make money. So you can look at it. You look at. So for me, I have one of my businesses is Solid Foundation Athletic Academy. I do more sports training with athletes. I use the Vertimax trainer, right? Some of you guys are familiar with the Vertimax trainer. It's an elite training machine that a lot of the pros and college students are using. So I'm introducing that to young kids to help get them a step up, right? But I use the Vertimax trainer in my house. So what does that mean for me? I have very little overhead. So I can charge $10 per session where other people who have these Vertimax machines in their facilities cannot charge $10 a session. They have to charge $25 a session, $50 a session, right? So look at your overhead and then you can kind of start mapping out. So I know what a particular, what I would pay if I was taking my children to a Vertimax training session, because I've done it. I paid $25 an hour for my kid to go get trained on a Vertimax. So when I bought mine, I said, you know what? I'm doing it in my basement. I'm doing it in my spare time. I don't have to have, this isn't the business that feeds my family. So I don't have to have $25 a session. I can start with free sessions to build up my clientele. And then eventually I can charge $12 per session and make a really solid profit, right? I can charge $15 per session and make an over-the-top profit. And I can even charge $20 per session, give a $5 donation back to the programs that recommended me. So there's a lot of ways that I can build that program, but it's because I don't have any overhead. So if you're blessed to Ball Skills Development Academy, costs you money to rent out a gym, to run the Skills and Drills Academy, you have to consider all of that stuff when you're setting your price point. But maybe you have connections with college players, professional players that you can get to come in as an added value if they don't charge you anything to do that. Now you start using that as a way to add value to your program. Maybe you have some ex-college guys who are able to come and train. So I would rather go ahead send my kid to go train with some college players than some guys off the street who may know the game but don't have the experience of the college players. So you have a lot of different ways that you can add value and pad your value to that program, but you do have to consider what your expenses are right now. But definitely, man, parents are spending a tremendous amount of money on training, youth sports training for their children. So you're in the right field. Just build it out and offer, and like you said, consultation with the parents. I think that's a nice touch because a lot of parents dealing with high school kids don't know how to go get their kids in the NCAA eligibility center. So that could be a class that you can charge for the parents, or that could be a free class that you can offer if the parents pay for so many sessions with you. So those types of things, man, you can add value in all of those different ways, man. So yeah, I would just look at my baseline cost from an expense standpoint, And then from that standpoint, I'll say, okay, my baseline, my break-even point is this. But if I add all of this value, which doesn't cost me anything, this extra value. So you see the infomercial, right? You can come in and train with me for $10 an hour, and I'm going to give you, $50 worth of stuff for free. Right? You can train with me for $10 an hour, which is already cheaper than anywhere else you can go train. And I'm going to give you $50 worth of stuff for free. Right? So think about padding your value or adding your value. Yes, I'm a former head college coach. That's what separates me from others. Man, so you've got access to former college players that you coach, even if they can't come and train with you. Go out and get them to do a video testimonial for you, a written testimonial for your blogs or your websites and all of that kind of stuff, man. Yeah, that, I mean, and then, you know, like me, I get excited. I didn't play college ball. I stopped at the high school level, but that didn't stop me from learning the game. So now I coach AAU. I have my training academy that I run, and I do skills and drills camps and things of that nature. But from the business side, it's all about how do I add value? How do I add value? So as a former head coach, on the college level, man, that should definitely be something that you're leading with. Then all of the testimonials of the college players that you coach, especially if you had any of them go pro, whether it's pro overseas, pro in the NBA, you know, transfer from your program to some bigger programs, or whatever the case is. All of that is definitely builds your authority in the space, builds your credibility, get other coaches to write reviews and do videos on you. Another thing that you can do, man, as a college coach, as a former college coach, you know exactly what colleges are looking for in a basketball athlete. So that's a whole separate program where you should have books, you should have PDF books and courses and all of that kind of stuff, man. So yeah, so that's yeah. If you want to build that thing out, man, we can definitely talk about that from the business side. But the branding and the marketing, which helps to promote why you're separate from all of these other programs, will definitely add value. Any more questions? Questions? I like it. I like it. Good stuff, Corvell. But that's a wonderful opportunity, man. I think adding that you know, consultation to the parents is big, man. How did you learn how to shift your financial mindset and become a financial guru? All right. I wouldn't call myself a guru, but you know, I just got to a point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Uh-oh, I think that's Charter, guys. Give me a second. Yes, sir. Come on in, my man.
A little early, dude.
I don't, man, and I will tell you, my stream, I'm doing a live show right now, and it has not dropped coverage this morning, so I'm pleased with that. All right, guys, so Charter guy is here. You guys know I've been having some spotty coverage and some intermittent stuff. My streams have been dropping, but what I did was I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I just started learning. I started feeding my brain. And there's a quote that I put on my website that says, the first thing you have to do is you have to empty your pockets to fill your mind. So I did that. I spent money on books, courses, seminars, and I just started getting around people who knew this stuff, and I soaked it up, right? And then once you empty your pockets to fill your mind, then you can turn around and empty your mind to fill your pockets. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm emptying my mind. I'm pouring out to you guys what I've learned, what I've spent money on all of these years to get to a position where I start to understand these concepts and these principles. And now I'm able to regurgitate a lot of the stuff that I learned from a lot of the leaders, Boyce Watkins, Robert Kiyosaki, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, all of these people who I studied and paid money on their books and their products, their tapes, their CDs, their seminars, and all that kind of stuff. Now I can give that information back to you and have you sign up for my financial success membership because I put in the time to learn the information. And You know, that's what I did, man. I just got to a place where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So that's I wanted to make a change, and I knew it was going to start with shifting my mindset. So I started putting different information in order to get a different output, right? If you want a different output, it starts with a different input. So I stopped the TV. Even as a youth basketball coach, I haven't watched the NBA finals. I haven't watched the Final Four in college basketball. I haven't watched football in about 4 years, because I needed to put different information in order to get a different output. And that's what I did. And now I'm blessed to be able to share this information with others, because I want everybody else to win financially. So with that, I'm going to get the charter guy in and out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm your man, Ace Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Again, if you want that cash flow manager app, I will put the link in the description so that you can check that out as a free 7-day trial. And then if you like it, you just pay $10.95 or $19.95, depending on whether you want the basic or the deluxe model. And that will get you what you want as a record keeping mechanism, so that you can track your business tax deductions and start keeping more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. So with that, I'm your man, Ace Cortez. Until I talk to you guys on Monday, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.